Hello and welcome to this short little lecture on revision, why it's important, some different ways you can do it. So, writing is a process. Getting ideas, putting them down, and then revising them to make them as good as possible. Again, revision comes from re, which means again, and vision, which means to see. So revision means to see again. Yeah, it's a vital part of the writing process. I've had students ask me, well, what happens if my first draft is so good I don't have to do a second draft? The answer to that is no, that's not even possible. You just can't, okay? Revision is part of the process. You can revise and revise and revise until your eyeballs fall out. And believe me, again, I'm speaking from practical experience, published author, and a college professor. I can't write something perfectly the first time. I don't know anyone who can. There's always ways you can make it better. But how? Well, there's a few tricks we're going to go over. Not tricks, but really tools that will help you. So there's this cool trick. It was introduced earlier on in the semester. The idea of being able to use the speak feature on Word. Now, I've actually created a video for that. It's found on Moodle. And I actually posted it here, the text-to-speech video, so you can watch that later. That's also found under, where is it? Under Resources. It's the very first video that pops up, the speak feature. So I'm not going to spend any time on this thing, but basically it sets up your Microsoft Word so that it will read back your text to you. So as if you've written something out, then it will read it back to you. That's very helpful because it'll help your ears will catch things that your eyes don't. So watch that for that revision and kind of go through that. All right, so another useful tool is something called Grammarly. Some students say, oh, is this cheating? That's what it? No, Grammarly is not cheating any more than spell check is cheating. If you're not sure what Grammarly is, I'm about to show you. So Grammarly is actually a website, and it comes in two flavors. It comes in free and expensive. But any help you can get is good help. It's kind of like a spell checker on steroids. It also checks for grammar. So let's kind of look at some real-life practical experience with doing revision. So let's say you wrote this sentence, and you're like, okay, I need to. That's my first draft, and I got to do some revision. Now, in theory, there is this under Word here. If you go click on Review, there's this spelling and grammar check. Now, this is, typo is not on our watch. Let us check your spelling and grammar. Really good try, Microsoft Word, but it does catch a few things, but very few. So let's kind of just use this one first to see what happens. So let's click on this, and it starts with this thing that's underlined in red, which means we spelled it wrong. It's like, oh, which one did I want to use? Oh, I wanted to use the word with, so I'm going to change that to with. Okay, that changed it. Yay! Spelling and grammar check is good. It is complete. Really? You're good to go? There's no other mistakes here? Yeah, no, there are. There's actually quite a few. So, I'm going to put that back in there, just for giggles. Now, if I were to take this whole thing, so, take this whole sentence here, and speaking of the spelling thing, let's see if you can hear this. Turn this up.
The children play with their beans on the park.
All right, one more time with love here.
The children play with their beans on the park.
All right, already I can hear there's several things that are not quite right. So, I'm going to use Grammarly to help me fix this. So I'm going to copy this. I can either just going to left click, and then I'm going to copy. I right click on that thing, and then I'm going to go to Grammarly. Now I've already loaded it up. This is what Grammarly looks like. I'm going to click on New, and then I'm going to paste. Okay. Now Grammarly will say, okay, well, there's some problems here. Oh, there's some problems, huh? Yeah, there's some problems. The children plays with their fiends on the park. Okay, well, it's going to say, well, look, you got this is wrong. Shouldn't be play. It should be play. You click on this, it'll say, because the singular verb plays does not appear to agree with the plural subject children. Oh, that's right. It should be play. So I just click on this. It changes it. Ta-da! With is spelled wrong. It's like, hey, which one did you want? Oh, I wanted with. So there, change that. There. Oops, I used the wrong there. I meant to use there. Yeah, there. Okay. Fiends. Oh, I meant to say friends. Even though it's could be Halloween, but we want to have friends. Okay. With their friends on the park? No, their friends in the park. Okay, or we could say at the park, but that was okay. And look, so The children play with their friends in the park. So that fixed a whole heck of a lot more than just the Microsoft Word. Now, will it catch everything? No. Will it help you catch a lot? Yes. And then I can just take this whole thing, copy it, and go back to my paper, and then paste it, and then it's been fixed. Ta-da! Look at that. Isn't that awesome? That's pretty amazing. Well, we'll get to this thing down here in a second. But now some say, well, is that cheating? No, it's not cheating. And I'll tell you why. Because I was a terrible speller growing up. And I have gotten significantly better at spelling because of spell check. Because when I spell something wrong, it has this little red underline with it, right? So another way I could do it is I could right-click on the word, and it shows me, okay, which word do you want to spell? Now, by sheer repetition of learning, okay, that's not how it's spelled, it should be spelled this way, I eventually learned how to spell it correctly. So it's like someone's kind of saying, no, that's incorrect, no, that's incorrect. Here's the correct way to do it. Eventually, you will learn it. So Grammarly is a big help. There's some stuff that you can use there. Yeah, that is useful. All right, what else we got? We did the Grammarly example demo. So want some better writing? How about using some synonyms? One part of writing which makes it better or stronger is if it's considered to be sophisticated writing. Now, sophisticated writing basically is based on your vocabulary. Your vocabulary is your knowledge of words and how many words you use and a variety of words. Synonyms are a great way to help your writing become more sophisticated. A synonym, what's the definition of a synonym? Well, some people would think it to be a word used in the place of one you can't spell. So let's say you're trying to spell chrysanthemum, and you're like, oh, I don't know how to spell chrysanthemum. I'm going to instead use flower. Okay, so basically they're two words that mean about the same thing. They're kind of interchangeable. So flower is a very basic word. Chrysanthemum would be much more of an advanced vocabulary word. Okay, so you want to use more advanced vocabulary. Well, let's say you don't have an advanced vocabulary or you're not sure how to spell things. No problem. Word actually has something that's very useful for this. Let's go back to Word and scroll down to this sentence right here. The little boy walked along the road. Okay, now that sentence is grammatically correct. There's fine, no problems, but it's very boring. It uses very simplistic vocabulary, nothing exciting about it. Now, back in the day, when I was growing up, we had something called the thesaurus, or an actual book, where we would have to look up words and see what other words that meant the same thing. Microsoft Word lets you do something a little easier than that. If we right-click on the word, right-click on, let's say, little, and we scroll down to synonym, okay, then it will give us some examples of words we could use. Okay, I'm like, oh, you know what? I really meant to say tiny. That's a better word for what I wanted this to mean. The tiny boy. Okay, what's another word for boy I could use? Let's see. Lad, schoolboy, young, son. I really meant lad. The tiny lad. Okay. Walked. Is there anything better than walked we could use? Let's see. Sauntered, strolled, ambled, marched, strode, stridden, pace, hiked. He marched. He was like, he knew where he was going, you know. He marched along the road. Okay, along. Is there anything I want to change with that one? Alongside? Along? Yeah, we're going to go with alongside, okay. The road. Road. Man, I really rather use the word boulevard, but I don't know how to spell it. Well, let's see. Oh, look, there's boulevard. Ba-ba-ba-da. The tiny lad marched alongside the boulevard. Boom. That is much more of a sophisticated sentence. Now, again, is that cheating? No, because the more you use this, the more you learn vocabulary words, and the more you use them more as a kind of a first choice as opposed to having to go through this. So this is a great tool to use to help with your writing. So all these things that I've shown you go back to the whole point of revision. Revision. Okay, like I said, it is a very important and required part of any writing assignments. All right. Go revise.